All right, I'm back. All right, so after the kind of talked about the overview, what we're working on this week, and as I said, in responding to the feedback, you think about more specific steps or wherever we think we are, right? And we're kind of maybe thinking about writing survey questions out. They would kind of taking the place like of interviews. We're also probably thinking about what the type of secondary research that we're doing, and then excuse me, and responding to the feedback too. We talked about not just the where things are on the page and giving them step-by-step instructions, but then providing several different samples. And I had a couple of requests like what's a good paper, what's a not so good paper or non-passing paper. A lot of times it's generally because they're just incomplete. And then I did have a request to kind of like, is there something like you can show like one that's like in progress, that's kind of in as it's being written, or kind of moving along. So I think I've got a good array here of project 3, right? So project 3 is important because it's the project that's the result of your proposal, right? That I provided feedback that you're working on. So, so I've already taken the liberty of putting, I think I've got most of these up here, starting with the assignment description itself. And that is, we've identified this issue, this thing that we want to explore some more, our topic. And now we're going to start doing the research, and we're going to put it into this collaborative research report in which we're going to either inform or we're going to make recommendations. Generally, I find students like to make recommendations. We've looked at this thing, we've talked to some people, and here's what I think we should do, right? And so that's kind of fun to do. So anyway, so that's where we're headed with the assignment, is to demonstrate that we understand the topic, right? Here's the topic. We understand it. Here's what people have kind of said on it. Here's some findings that we've discovered. Here's how we kind of went through it. Here's how we did it. And then here's what we recommend. So this is kind of gives you an overview of the minimum requirements. So before you freak out, keep in mind that is 12 to 19 pages total, right? And then 9 to 12 pages are more like these kinds of things in here, right? So you've got here's 4 or 5 pages. There's 3 or 4 or 5 pages could be with your what we call front matter and back matter, and I'll show you what that means, what that looks like, and put all those things together. So let's get to what we're really talking about in the overall. So here, if we're going to kind of think about what these two look like, so front matter cover page, table of contents, table of figures. All right, so here's a cover page. Here's a title page, right? Here's the title of it, what the class was for, an audience. In this particular case, obviously you can tell this was one I taught down here in Detroit at Wayne. Obviously here's the team members and where they are, what their majors are, and then here's like a table of contents. Here's how they decided to do it. You could break it down this detail. This is a very good detail. And then they have their list of all the illustrations. And then here is their executive summary. So we can look, here's a summary. So we got a front matter, kind of takes up that kind of space, right? Here's what's coming. It provides like an introduction before an introduction. Now we're going to talk about the very specifics as to here is the problem, right? Here's the thing that we are identifying. Then here's how we're looking at it. Here's kind of like where we're coming from, very specifically, as opposed to just anything. This is very, very specifically in Detroit. We see this as a problem right here. We think this is a greater problem than perhaps other addictions. And heroin needs to be explored a little bit more, perhaps than maybe other drugs, which they talk about later. Here's our research methods, right? So, and we'll talk a little bit this more as we get closer, and I'll provide you kind of with a little bit of an outline that goes similar to this, but this is often referred to as what's called the IMRAD, IMRAD method. It's where you introduce, state your methods, and then after your methods, you perform analysis, often in the form of results, and then you'll have a discussion at the end. And that's where you make you conclude, and you make your all of your recommendations. All right, so we'll get into more detail with that here in another video. So we'll see you guys soon.